I don't believe that. It's watching me looking really sad for 15 minutes.
I wasn't sure, but then I thought I'm not going to interrupt now because it must have started and I could see your screen. But maybe it didn't share for the others either. I thought it was just me.
That's embarrassing.
No, it's not.
What we do just watching me going, what's it? Is he gonna start this or what?
I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure what was going on. But then after about 2 minutes, I was like, it must have started.
Oh, that is ridiculous. That cannot go out into the wild. Tell everyone. The festival is ruined. I apologize, Paddy, if you are still there. I'll play it for him again shortly. So you just watched me crying for 15. No, I wasn't, honestly. I was
No.
um I'm gonna ask you some questions anyway,
Yeah.
if that's okay. Um that's funny that nobody said I can't believe it. Yeah, I watched this twice today now, obviously. I don't know if you saw my post.
I did. It was really
Oh.
moving. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, and I suppose one question I want to ask is then just to quote your character's father, quoting Stevie Wonder, etc., like what
Hmm.
is your greatest composition, or like what's your greatest achievement so far in this film world?
Oh, I think it probably is 54 days because it was such a personal piece. It was that making that was obviously fictional, but it was the journey I was going through after I lost my friend and my uncle to suicide in the pandemic. So it was so deeply personal. And then to have made that, to have that be the outcome, and to have the conversations I've had with people going through suicide bereavement, but also just bereavement, and know that I've created something that provides hope. I don't know what I could ever do, no matter what awards and all that stuff. It almost doesn't matter. Like that to me it kept me going, and I know that it keeps other people going. So probably that, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it was personal. I think it kind of has to be personal for you, even before you see the names at the end. So, I mean, obviously, my
Mhm.
belated condolences for your loss there, but
Oh,
even
thank you.
without that, I think you would think this needs to be a personal story because either yours or the guy who plays the brother, and or something related to that. So, yeah,
Mm.
it was. But as I put in my post, I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's also you kind of fix things at the end, not just for you,
Yeah,
but for the audience watching.
yeah.
They don't necessarily need that because life isn't like that, is it? But you need something.
It's
So I mean,
not like that, but I felt that I needed that. I needed that, and I felt that this film needed that, and I felt that it was an important piece of the narrative around what life looks like after you've lost someone to suicide, because it's not that isn't a narrative that's out there. It's kind of suicide is always the end of the story, and I
it's,
wanted to be really clear that it doesn't have to be.
yeah, watching it when I watched it the second time, and you read all the signs in that first 2 minutes, it's sort of like your heart breaks a little bit earlier. So it is a really brilliant work. I mean, Hannah, who is kind of my second in command at Film Autonomy, she watched it today. And it is only Monday, but she said it's the best film she's seen so far at the festival.
Oh,
She said it straight away. And she's watched nearly all of them, But
oh.
it's, I wish we'd have met, 2 years ago and we could have had it in the competition selection,
I
obviously, but,
know.
but
I wish as well. But this is
because that,
great to have
it
this.
would have done very well. I guarantee it would have done very well. But it doesn't matter, like you say, it's not about awards. You've brought it to us,
Mhm.
and because I know I joked about it with Louisa, and I've seen cats' names everywhere. It's like every day I look, this her name. Same with Louisa. I mean, she's all over the place. It's the same
Yeah.
people. Um, but I didn't know you had this in your until I didn't know anything about you before the festival. I'll be honest, and I didn't know you had this in
No.
your pocket. That you were named as a producer. Through Louise's eyes, but you've created this as well, and it's a magnificent film. The writing process, then I know it's personal, but how do you write? Like, do you lock yourself away in a cabin? Do you like to be surrounded by music and animals? What's your process, especially with something like this where you probably needed, I don't know, what did you need for a personal story? Maybe you don't need isolation for that.
Yeah, this was the most interesting writing process because it was the first script I've ever written. And secondly, I think probably because of that, it took me, it was one of those 3 a.m. sit up in the middle of the night. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a film. Wrote it probably the next day and then sort of finessed it over the next week. And then, of course, spent the following months kind of getting, input and finessing it, but it didn't change all that much. The brother used to be a sister. Apart from that, I worked on the character of Gloria a bit with Celia, and we sort of tweaked that. It used to be that she'd been a ballet dancer, and that didn't make sense. And then we created her into someone that used to swim. Apart from that, I just knew the story. I can't explain it. I was so clear.
Yeah,
Now I
of
spend
course.
absolute months agonizing over my scripts, but that I think because I didn't have any sense of pressure, I didn't have any sense of expectation, and I just knew that I wanted to. It was coming from a different place. It was coming from a place of this is my grieving process, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, Kat, I think it could have gone a different way because sometimes the personal things the hardest to write.
Mm,
You could have spent years on that and gone, this is not honouring them enough or yourself. Or
mm.
did you go for any of that, or was it just simply that you got it out and it was cathartic and it was just what you wanted, needed?
I went through that in the process of questioning whether I should or shouldn't play Ruby. That was when I was like, will I honor them? Will I not? What's the right move here? The writing process, I didn't have any of that. The script was locked off quite quickly and I launched into production mode. But yeah, that question came really majorly when I thought, can I actually play that part? Will I break down? Will I do it justice? Can I watch someone else play it? All of those things.
Gosh, yeah. Yeah, that is a lot. And the casting you mentioned, Celia, obviously she's a very familiar face to British people. I suppose anyone really, but she's one of those, oh, what have I seen her in? Well, anything over the last 30 years, really.
Yeah.
How did you get her? Because she is like the guardian angel, like the perfect someone to walk into a film like that
Oh
is this
my gosh.
anonymous character. And obviously the mother's quite a famous face as well. But
Yeah.
also the guy who plays his brother is fantastic, especially
He is
well in
amazing.
everything he does. I mean, tell me about this casting process and what was it like watching them?
Yeah. That was such an interesting thing being on the other side of that process. So I did offers for, yeah, for Celia's character, for Juliet, who plays my mum, and for Delroy, who plays my dad. But with Josh, who plays my brother, we did auditions and like got, I think, a final five and got them in the room and did chemistry reads with me, which was such an interesting process. And weirdly, Josh wasn't my first choice from the tapes, but then something happened when he came in the room and I just thought, he is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. He is incredible. Um, yeah, but I think it was looking for people who got the project, got the message, people who care about the theme. So Delroy, who plays the dad, actually used to be an ex mental health nurse before he became an actor. So
Right.
even that, he had personal experience working with people who had attempted suicide, had died by suicide, lived with mental health problems. So there was that. Juliet is now one of my best friends. We became friends from that. And yeah, she came out to Cannes for my birthday with me last year when we were screening this film and we're really close. And Celia is amazing because she's a swimmer and I wanted that like absolute kind of that I wanted someone that felt like they were so different to Ruby and yet there was some innate sense. There was something inner that was the same. And again, this sense of like not being closed to strangers and
Yeah.
being open to what conversations you might have. And there's actually a freedom that comes in speaking to strangers. And, when you can't speak to those closest to you. So that was amazing. We only had her for one day, of course, because, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, it was a masterclass to work with her, truly.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, when I did I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the festival, but I put the bit, the joy she shows when she first meets Ruby and Ruby gets in the does the chest, gets in the water, and she's sort of like a child who's got a new toy. And I put that because it was such a joyful moment in a film that does have joy, but it's overall it's quite melancholy, obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just a couple more questions, really. One is, what was the reaction when it was released? Did you have like a festival run, and what was what
Yeah.
feedback did you get? Was it a hit?
Yes, we had, I think you can safely say, a very successful festival run. I think we've screened at over 50 festivals and won, I think, close to 30 awards, all Oscar qualified. It's got Oscar qualified, BAFTA qualified, BIFFA qualified, but
Wow.
didn't get on any of the long lists or any of those. But just had an amazing, yeah, lots of best short film, best actress awards. But I think also what I loved, because I went to quite a lot of the festivals, was the conversations with people who just would come and often share their stories. That
Yeah.
happened a lot. People who would share their experience living with thoughts of suicide or being suicide bereaved. Um, but also people who would say thank you because that's given me some hope. We sold it to American Airlines. So it's now on American Airlines. And my next move is to try and get it on, don't know, BBC iPlayer, Prime. I haven't got it. I haven't done the kind of final stage yet, distribution. So if you have any contacts, that'd be great. Because I do think we can get it on one of those platforms for sure. It feels like a perfect kind of end to that journey.
Yeah, yeah. But I think what because of this my earlier screw up, but generally today's been a very poor showing for the festival, and I'd like to maybe put this again as like an extra screening somewhere because there's some films I just think people should be watching, and this is one of them. I'm not just saying it because you're here. I mean, last night I hadn't seen your film yet, and I thought, and now I've seen a different side to you.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah,
I'm not really a producer anymore, as I said last night. It's not what makes my heart sing. I want to tell my own stories. And I think this was an amazing it was my first film in
yeah,
all fronts, writing, directing. And I think yeah, that'll be amazing. Yeah, because I also haven't properly publicized this as I would have wanted to. It's just all sort of crept up on me. So if we do another one, that would be great. We can do a proper get people,
we
get
will.
people.
Yeah, I'll do it. And even like films that are, I mean, we do the showcase selection. There's a lot of films that don't qualify because this is not an official festival. This is a very humble experience. But I do have my rules where the competition selection has to be released in the last like,
Yeah,
early 2024. I mean, Sister Wife's just about got made it, but last year that film wasn't ready, so I promised her I'd come back. But
yeah.
I still want these films that some of the showcase films that from the last 5 years are just so brilliant that I
You've
want to
got an
throw them.
amazing selection.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's just one after the other, you know.
Yeah. I think I've
But
got
yeah,
one with you tomorrow as well, haven't I?
is it?
Ceres, I think, is tomorrow. Where's my
Oh,
list?
is it? Yeah, and then you've got
Oh no, it's
Leah
not
as
tomorrow,
well.
it's 28th.
You've
And
got
then I've got it's a
Leah's.
family thing, yeah. I know, sorry.
I'm sorry to keep you up every single night. I'll try. I should schedule a bit early. I don't know how it turned out that way, but yeah. I mean, just the last question is co-directed, didn't you? This one.
Yes.
So why co-directed then? Did you? I mean, I'll just let you answer. Did you want to step back away for a little bit, or
Well, actually, it was bit at the time. I never saw myself as the director. As I say, this was the first script I'd written, and by the time I'd made the decision that I was going to play Ruby, it didn't cross my mind that I could also direct that. So it felt
yeah,
really important to have somebody else there who could be eyes and objective and be somewhat removed from it 'cause it was so personal. I was across it in every single
yeah,
capacity. So that felt really important. And I think it can be an amazing thing when it works, it can really work. But I do think this was challenging in some ways because I do think because of the personal nature of it and me having such a clear idea of what this story would be because in so many ways it was my life, but also it's important to step away from that and kind of recognize how do we move this outside of my story and make sure that it can speak to everyone. But I think it's, especially in the short film world, often it's a way to get stuff done, isn't it? To kind of team up.
yeah,
More with producing, I tend to co-produce a lot more. Directing, I think now I'm have the confidence to do it myself.
yeah? Because you said last night, I did laugh because you said I just want to stick to writing, directing, and acting. I mean, they're three full-time jobs. That's just those three, yeah. But anyway, massive congratulations. I won't keep you any longer. Hopefully, we will speak again. I'll make
Yes.
sure of it.
Well, I'll
I
be
would
on for
hug.
the other
I'd hug you
screenings as
if I
well.
could, but
I know, I wish we
uh,
could. I'm
but
glad we've
yeah,
met. We're going to be mates, I can tell.
we're definitely gonna be mates. So, but I
Yeah.
can't cry every time we meet. It's not on. But yeah, really, truly, I'm not just blowing smoke up your it's a beautiful film. So congratulations, and yeah,
Thank you,
it's a little
Robin.
token of your life. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much. Congrats on everything. I'll see you very soon for another
yeah. I'll
screening.
see you every day of this week.
Take care.
All right. Good
Bye.
night. Bye bye.
Bye.